Hello again, everyone. Edwin Leonard back once again. In this YouTube segment, I'm going to be talking about the death of Courtney Heater. Now, Courtney Heater died on February 2nd, 2020 in Columbus County, North Carolina at the age of 24. It occurred, I believe, in her residence, and the death was ruled as an accidental drug overdose. However, I believe this ostensibly was a homicide. There was extensive bruising on her body. The thing is, she had at least no recent history of doing heroin, and that was found in her system. The cause of death was ruled an inadvertent fentanyl and heroin intoxication. The boyfriend was on the phone with the dispatcher when he reported this, and the dispatcher had asked him at least one time if she did drugs, and he replied no. And that begs the question: if she didn't wasn't doing drugs, then how did they wind up in her system? And this obviously is very contradictory and suspicious. And to the best of my knowledge, when law enforcement arrived, they did between very little or no investigation into the boyfriend. And the boyfriend likely gave her those drugs and forced it in her system. At least that's what I believe. And I'm sure he was the one that inflicted those bruises on her. And, there had been a history of him abusing her. And Courtney, though, was reluctant to report anything due to intimidation and coercion by her boyfriend and his family. And someone prominent with the Columbus County Sheriff's Office, stated that all the neighbors in a certain radius of Courtney's death were going to be questioned. And someone checked with one of those neighbors, and the person claimed that he or she was never questioned by police. And it appears this case has been thrown under the proverbial rug. Now, I believe, it wouldn't surprise me if this, police department, handle a number of other cases in the same manner. And the mother, Debbie Heater, has tried a number of times to contact law enforcement in that area, and has gotten no response. And it begs the question, why hasn't law enforcement done anything? Why have they been so apathetic regarding this case? Is it simply laziness, apathy? Are they in fear to pursue it for some reason? And another notable thing, that was suspicious was an EMT report, that Debbie Heater had received from the Columbus County Sheriff's Office, pertaining to Courtney's death, and it was missing the third page. I would really like to see, the boyfriend be investigated and at least have him submit, a polygraph, because if he had no involvement, I could say that again, involvement, then he has nothing to hide, and he should be willing to take the test. And the thing I want to add to this about Courtney Heater, I mean, she was a vivacious and vibrant young woman who died, obviously, too soon, and her death needs to be avenged. Justice needs to be served. And I'm not sure, how many people, in law enforcement. I'm not sure. Well, I'm not really sure why so many people in law enforcement can be oblivious to this and turn a blind eye. It's as if they have no conscience. The person that did this, likely her boyfriend, is out free, and he's able to enjoy the high life while she has no life, period. and something is terribly wrong with this picture. And I kindly ask, that people that see this video, go to the links in the video description. I'm going to include a link to the Courtney Heater Facebook group, and there's also going to be a link to a petition from change.org to get this case reopened. I mean, that is something I would consider a moral imperative, to say the absolute least. And I mean, this is just something that needs to be really looked into much more extensively, than it is. I mean, and that's a vast understatement. The thing about it is, it's nearly 3 years overdue, and something needs to be done about it. Justice needs to be served. I say, really encourage people to get this case reopened and have a fair judicial process. I mean, people that are in this Columbus County, law enforcement division or what have you, I believe they took an oath and vowed to serve and protect. Well, why aren't they doing so? Somebody prominent in that law enforcement group, stated something like there's no reason to go further with this and to perceive it as a homicide, when it seems to me it ostensibly, again, is a homicide. And this is what I refer to as a PP investigation. And why? Because there appears to be a lot of procrastination and, I believe, prevarication as well. And that's why I call it, a PP investigation, basically. So this is something that really needs to be looked into a lot more. And for whatever reason, it just gone stagnant, and there's no investigation into it. And I do believe that Courtney Heater did die as a result of homicide/murder. This was not an inadvertent overdose. And it makes me wonder too, and I don't know this 100%, when you have such a prodigious amount of that fentanyl, I guess, in the heroin, I mean, I wonder if she could have even been able to assimilate that much into her system before passing out. It may not have even been literally possible to put that much in her system before she was rendered unconscious. And I think that's the thing that needs to be looked at as well. And anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube segment. And until next time, Edwin Lerner saying stay well.